Hello, welcome to another episode of the Daily Disney Podcast. My name is Craig. I will be your host as we look into all things Disney. This is episode 55. I'm so thankful that you are here following along. Make sure you do. Please like and subscribe to the podcast. We're on all of your favorite podcast outlets. We're also on YouTube underneath the Daily Disney Podcast. Also on Twitter, Daily Disney Pod. And everything is hosted on the website, thedailycraig.net. So please check us out. I'm so thankful that you are here. Today, we are going to take a trip over to Hollywood Studios in sunny Orlando, Florida. We're still here in the Midwest. We've got cold and snow, so we are escaping with you. And today we're going to talk about the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. The Tower of Terror, known as the Tower of Terror, is an accelerated drop tower dark ride located at Hollywood Studios, Tokyo Disney Sea, Walt Disney Studios Park, and formerly Disney California Adventure. The attraction, inspired by Rod Serling's anthology television series, The Twilight Zone, takes place in the fictional Hollywood Tower Hotel in Hollywood, California. The Tokyo version features an original storyline not related to Twilight Zone, takes place in the fictional hotel High Tower. All versions of the attraction place riders in an ordinary hotel elevator and present a fictional backstory in which people have mysteriously disappeared from the elevator under the influence of supernatural element many years previously. The original version of the attraction opened at Hollywood Studios, that was then named MGM Studios, and it was opened in July of '94. A decade later, Disney began plans on a similar attraction at their newest park in California, which was California Adventure, Tokyo Disney, and Disneyland Paris. In California and Paris, Disney sought to use the popular attraction to boost attendance when they were struggling. California and Tokyo versions were opened in 2004 and 2006, while the financial problems delayed the opening at Paris until 2007. California version closed in 2017 and was replaced by Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, which was later incorporated into the Avengers Campus themed in 2021. The Tower of Terror buildings are amongst the tallest structures of each of their Disney resorts. It's 199 feet tall in Florida, is the second highest attraction behind Exhibition Everest over at Animal Kingdom, and which is only a half a foot taller. Disneyland Resort, the 199-foot structure, is the tallest building. Even after its retheme, it's one of the tallest buildings in Anaheim. And in Disneyland Paris, it's the second tallest attraction. So, a little bit of history here. In the late 1980s, in the late 1980s, not the late 1880s, a second phase of development was being designed for Disneyland Paris. It was then known as Euro Disney. It was included a free-fall type of ride in Frontierland that was to be named Geyser Mountain. It would have been part roller coaster and part free-fall that shot guests up a vertical shaft. The plan was scrapped, but then picked up by Hollywood Studios as part of a massive expansion to their U.S. park. Several attractions have already been proposed. The Dick Tracy Crime Stopper, which would later be made into the Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland. And they really needed a new e-ticket kind of thrilling ride, and they jumped on the Hollywood Hotel. There have been several different ideas for haunted attractions, different things based off Stephen King novels, Vincent Price Ghost Tour, Mel Brooks narrated ride, all kinds of different things. Godzilla, Eddie Murphy, and Elvira. We're going to host that one. A whodunit murder mystery. None of those really went past the just kind of talking phase. They finally took true inspiration from Ron Sterling and created the Twilight Zone Hollywood Hotel. Imagineers mused that the attraction would be able to take guests into the fifth dimension that Sterling always described as unlocking in every episode of the series. The project, in firm development, they licensed the rights to use the Twilight Zone from CBS. Imagineering team settled on a 1930s Hollywood-era hotel with a Twilight Zone theme and a new ride system built in that would allow more capacity and make the drop pretty quick, pretty fast. Otis Elevator Company created the vertical ride system, and Eaton Kenway, a ride vehicle that could drive itself horizontally. There were a lot of different people involved. Basically, Disney needed that Rod Serling voice. And if you're familiar with the Twilight Zone, Rod Serling was always one at the beginning that would say, "This is the Twilight Zone." It was him that said that. He died 2 decades earlier, so they had auditions. His wife actually was a consultant for the casting. And after many, many auditions, Mark Silverman was chosen to provide the voice. Actual footage was used that showed Sterling in the pre-show. So long story short, they found somebody to kind of come in and do the voice there. So the new ride was formally announced in 1991. It was later described as a haunted attraction with a stomach-churning 130-foot drop. So something new at MGM Studios. It would be a contrasting experience to the friendlier Haunted Mansion over at Magic Kingdom. Site clearing and preparation began in early 1992, and the original location was moved slightly after a sinkhole was formed a couple months later. The interior and exterior design took inspiration from Southern California landmarks, including the Biltmore Hotel and the Mission Inn. The distinctive Spanish colonial revival architecture features that are present on the attraction's roof were designed near the facade so they would blend with the skyline of the Mexico Pavilion across the way, which is less than 2 miles away. After construction ended, the ride was initially set to open July 4th, 94. However, it opened July 22nd, 94 with the Sunset Boulevard section of Hollywood Studios. Now, the whole Morocco thing. If you're at the right angle, you can see Morocco and then you can see the Hollywood Hotel, and it kind of just looks like it's one big city, basically. It's amazing. You're kind of in the back of World Showcase and you kind of do that. It's a really weird angle, and I've only been able to do it like one time. But it is something to just Google Hollywood Hotel, Mexico Pavilion, and it'll show you the exact angle you need to do. There's all kinds of different things with the Imagineering, all kinds of things with the engineering that they needed to change, all kinds of things that they need to make sure were basically just going to work properly, I guess. There were a lot of trial and error. It used to be the drop was the same every single time, so you kind of knew where it was going. Now they implemented where I think there's 60 different options of different falls and different timings and things like that. In 2014, video recording was added to the on-ride camera, so you get an on-ride photo with your PhotoPass service. This was the first ride to offer on-ride videos, and then it was also added to Snow White's Mine Train and actually a couple others so far. But this was one of the first ones where you actually saw the video of you coming up and then going down and things like that. So a little bit of, the queue. It's a really cool queue. It looks like you are going into an old school hotel. You get the whole story. You get the whole, here's exactly what's happening. Here's why, the lightning's coming through. Does a great job of actually telling the story. These are different. Everywhere else are just a little bit different. Over in California Adventure, now it's based on Guardians of the Galaxy. The video looks really, really cool. I've never seen it, but it is changed. So in Florida, where we are, it cost $140 million, opened 94. That was 27 years ago. Basically, 39 miles an hour on your drop. There's 8 vehicles, 21 people in it per vehicle, 3 rows, 7 riders per row. It takes 3.5 minutes. You have to be 40 inches or taller. So the line for this gets long at different times. In the morning, it's not that bad. And in the evening, it's not that bad. The video footage of this at night is really, really cool. You can really, really see everything lit up, and it's really neat. The whole idea of the Tower of Terror being kind of that cornerstone for MGM Studios or Hollywood Studios is really, really cool to me. Because now you've got Toy Story Land, you got Star Wars Land, you've even got the Chinese Theater. But this was something that's unique, and it's totally different, and it's totally new. And yes, it's based off a television series, but it's not, in my eyes, it's not like newer. It's an old school ride. It's an old school way of thinking. Because when you ride this, it really does make you feel like you are back in the 50s or the 60s. And you really do feel like you're on one of those old school elevators. And you really can get yourself lost into, oh my gosh, I am in a different dimension. Or, oh my gosh, I am part of this, happenings within this hotel. So what do you think? Is it a ride that you always ride? Is it one that you wait in line for? It's a very, very cool ride. It's very, very neat. The views are amazing. And frankly, it's one of the most popular rides. And I know our version here in Florida has got all those rumors. It's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy one of these days, but I love it. I love how it is right now. I hope they keep it like that. It is, it's been around since the mid-90s now. So, we're looking at some pretty experienced ride. This has been here for a while. This has been here for a minute. So I hope it stays Tower of Terror. I can never say that right. I always call it Terror of Tower or something weird. But anyway, let me know. Let me know what you think. Thanks for taking this look back. I always like to just look at rides and kind of understand the history of it. And with this one, you knew that it's interesting hearing all the different ideas that they were thinking about. They were going to do a Dick Tracy thing. They were going to do some other scary stuff. They were going to have Elvira on it and, different things like that. So it's real interesting to see this is what they come up with. This is the end result. And I like it because Twilight Zone, it was popular way back in the day, the 60s and 70s. It wasn't popular in the 90s when they built this. So to implement something from old school to make the hotel look old, see all the cobwebs that are there, and then you get off and see all the merchandise you can get. I think it's really cool. So anyway, let me know what you think. Is this something that you ride every time, or do you skip it? Thanks again for tuning in. Again, this is the Daily Disney Podcast. This has been episode 55 already. Make sure you please like and subscribe, and we will talk to you next time.